Good morning, Peter. How are you?
Good morning, Paul. I'm well as can be expected. Thank you.
Well, that's good news anyway. And I
Yeah,
think that you want to talk about ways to grow your business this morning, Peter, which is certainly going to, I think, make people's ears prick up. So, yeah, very much looking forward to what you've got to say about that subject.
thank you, Paul. Yeah, so it's an area that businesses should revisit fairly often to see if they are creating enough business for themselves and how they might be able to improve. And as you know, and I think it was your handout originally, that there are three categories of making or growing your business. One, of course, is to get more customers. That's pretty straightforward. The second one is to get them to come back more often. And the third one is to, when they do come back, to, have ways of making them purchase more. So spend extra money. That's the, would you like fries with that component? But I'd like to sort of drill down a little bit today, and we can revisit this ponder quite often, I think, between us to visit these categories. But I had one in the category two, that's getting people to come more often. And it's an example. Aldi do this very well. They run specials on any number of different items outside their grocery lines, white goods, everything from lawnmowers to garden sheds. And what they do is they have them on for limited time, and people have to be quick to get one because once they've run out of stock, it's a pretty good marketing campaign. And there's a title for that sort of increasing of sales, and that's called excuse me, FOMO, FOMO. And FOMO stands for fear of missing out. And then we come across that quite a lot in life where people like to keep up with the Joneses or don't want to be left out of certain things. So businesses can create around that an urgency to purchase. And some clever thinking can encourage customers to return to your business more often if you have these sort of campaigns going on. I did it a couple of times in a past life where I interestingly was converting service stations from manual serving to self-serve, which was a hard sell because people liked being served. But as part of those campaigns, just quickly, fear of missing out, I did things like having the local radio station on site, and that was quite popular, and people would come to see those presenters. So that got them down there. Probably on an occasion they wouldn't come. And also in one case had the Penrith Panthers football team at Penrith come along and sign giveaway footballs. And that was fear of missing out in the sense that those people that liked that team could catch up and they only had that brief opportunity. But it got people into the shop. Sorry, Paul, I haven't given you a chance to comment on that fear of missing out.
I just have another an example myself. Yeah. I can remember a car dealer close by had Tony Lockett in, and I'd never met him, and I must say that I admired him as a footballer, and it was a great opportunity to meet the famous Tony. And this was quite a few years ago, but it was a little promotion put on by a local car dealer. I would never have gone there without actually Tony Lockett actually being on, being available for having a chat and getting an autograph.
I was just leaning back to your example where you remember that and favourably, and you may not purchase from that business for a while, but you might talk to someone and say, well, I saw them at that business, so that business's name comes up. And that's all about fair play. It's an odd concept. Fair play is getting to a point where people speak favourably about your business because they respect the way you operate. Now, that's fair play. Of course, you haven't made a sale, but it's good to have fair play in place so that enables you to move on to try and make sales. But yeah, so that was probably all about FOMO, fear of missing out. And I'd ask businesses to have a think about what they could do. And I don't want you to frighten your customers away, but basically there might be something that gives some sense of urgency to get people back.
I think that's yeah. Sorry to interrupt, Peter.
No,
I think that sort of, I think what you're saying there is spot on. Yeah, engendering that sense of urgency is really important. It's all too easy to say, oh well, I'll get around to it next week, next month, next year, so getting people to act is, I think, extremely important.
Yeah, and you're getting customers back for another opportunity to make a sale. They're probably good regular customers anyway, and they're probably happy to come back because they like dealing with you. But it speeds up the process a little bit. And I'm going back to Aldi. I think they do that very well. I'm not an Aldi supporter, but I've seen those catalogues and been half tempted to rush in and buy something I didn't need. And that was that's what affected me, I suppose. But that's probably all on that particular ponder, Paul. There's much more in the topic, and we can circle back to it later.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. It's I think that you've brought up some really important points there. So today, a little bit about the fear of missing out, and perhaps getting your customers to act sooner than later, I think, is an important concept. So thank you very much, Peter. Folks, if you got something from today's video, please, yeah, we'd love to see you subscribe to our channel. So and to wish you well in business. So thank you, Peter, and thank you, folks.
Thanks, Paul. Great talking with you.